Hey everyone, and welcome to my monthly reset for the month of February. As you can see, there is no more Christmas tree behind me. I had to take that down because it was getting a little bit long in the tooth. And of course, being February now, I needed to obviously have a reset, and it is no longer Christmas. It hasn't been Christmas for like 5 weeks now. So I needed to do that finally, even though I'd probably leave it up all year if I could. And you can see here that Suki is joining us today. I haven't actually tidied any of the blankets or anything that I usually do because I didn't really want to disturb her. So she's just going to continue laying there. I don't think I'd be able to move her anyway, to be honest. So she's going to join us for today, but probably be asleep for most of the time. And if you can see a bunch of bruises on me, yeah, that is from the dogs because we took them swimming in my parents' pool the other day. And it's the first time that this one actually got to properly swim. And she hasn't really gotten the hang of actually just like doing a doggy paddle yet. It's more like a real like splashing motion. And unfortunately, my arms got in the way several times. So, but yeah, January has been quite a hectic month. At the same time, I feel that I have been taking a little bit of time each week just for myself or to kind of reset my week. It's been really nice and I feel pretty privileged to be able to do that every week at the moment. And that was my goal for last month. So if you saw my January reset or my yearly reset video, I should say, I talked about how I wanted to have one day a week, usually probably at the beginning of the week, where I just have a bit of a reset day. I look at what needs to be done with my business. So whether that is all of the back end stuff that never gets done, file management, backing up, all of that kind of thing. I feel like I never get the time to actually do that. So this is basically what these days have been for. Also to kind of focus on my home duties as well, because honestly, even though I work from home, I feel like I never get the time to clean the house. When I do clean the house, 3 seconds later, it looks like crap. So I really wanted January especially to sort of have that reset functionality each week where I could go in, do some cleaning, do, file management, do that back end stuff for my business that I never get a chance to do, and just kind of reset that way, get on top of things a little bit more. And honestly, I can say that I did achieve that in January, and I think I'm going to be carrying that through for February as well. I actually enjoyed it so much and appreciated having that time so much that I feel like I could keep that going and just continuously use that day for resetting, actually getting all of the stuff done that I never get a chance to do otherwise. Because it's really hard, I think, for anyone working full time, whether you're working from home or not, it's difficult to be able to do everything that you need to get done on 2 days, which would be the weekend. And obviously a lot of the time weekends are spent doing things, are spent going out, maybe seeing family, seeing friends, catching up, and then you're also supposed to do all of those mundane tasks that we have to do as well, around the house. So I just feel that having that extra day each week has been so beneficial for me to just get on top of things at the moment. So as I said, I really think bringing that through to February will be a good thing for me, and I still feel like there's more work to do with that. I really haven't gotten around to still a lot of the things that I would love to. So using that day in February to kind of keep going with that, I think will be a good thing. Now, a couple of the other goals though that I had during the month of January, I didn't really achieve, and I'll go into that in detail when we go into my goal spreadsheet that I usually take you into and actually show you how I've been tracking with some of my goals for the month. But yeah, I'll definitely be setting new goals this month, and unfortunately the ones in January didn't all hold up. I think there's been like a sense of struggling to get back to it in this month. I think having that little bit of time off at the end of December as well, and just kind of getting into a little bit more of a holiday mode. I think for everyone it's really difficult to come out of that once January hits. I think there's like a sense of excitement, like you're always excited to start the new year and to plan things and to set new goals and do all that, but at the same time there's just kind of like this part of you that's longing for that break still and just wants to kind of keep that going. So I have really struggled in January, I think, this year, just kind of getting back into it in that way. And I've actually had the whole month having a break from Instagram. So whereas I had my goals for Instagram at the beginning of January, they did not get achieved, but I am okay with that because I had a full month's break from Instagram pretty much and just had some time off from it to kind of reassess, but also to focus on the other things that I needed to do. Obviously, I've got a lot of different business tasks, even being a content creator, being a freelancer. So there's always going to be things that I have to prioritize over others. And unfortunately, Instagram again just kind of got sidelined this month. I have to remind myself too that Instagram for me and my travel Instagram account is a passion project. It is the kind of thing that I want to put love into, and if I don't have that love to give at certain points, I feel that I'm not going to be really happy with the end result either. So although maybe consistency may be an issue sometimes with Instagram when I haven't had all my posts planned, for example, I do think that there's a sense of like, I want this Instagram account to be something that I'm proud of and actually something that I feel creative in, and I don't want to force myself, especially at this time of year where I have been kind of struggling to get back into it and, you know, focusing on other things. I just don't want to kind of squeeze out content for it just because that's kind of like the one place I don't want to do that, because again, it is my passion project and I want to be proud of the work that I'm doing there. But as I said, I do have some goals for February, so some new goals and some similar goals to last month that I want to keep going as well. We will go into my goal tracking template, which if you haven't seen these monthly reset videos before, I use the CoPlenty templates for goal tracking and they are amazing. I use them every month to do my monthly resets and actually go through my goals, see my progress, and then set my goals for the next month as well. If you are interested in checking out the CoPlenty templates, I do have an affiliate link in the description box below, and there's also a discount code that's listed as well. So one thing I actually do need to do as well, which I haven't done yet, is my goal setting for the year. Usually I will try and do that in January because I feel like it's probably the best month to do that, being the start of the year. But sometimes I have in the past flipped that over to February. Sometimes you just need a bit of time as well to think about the things that you really want to achieve in a year. And I think I've definitely felt that way this year. I've not started off, I think, with as much clarity in 2025. So having a little bit more time in January to sort of really think hard about the goals that I want to achieve, I think they're starting to really come through now, and I can sort of see a little bit clearer maybe what I want to do this year and what I want to achieve. So that's kind of good, and I know that sometime in February, hopefully my partner and I will get a chance to do our little goal setting session, which I've talked about in previous videos. Quite often we will go away for 1 or 2 nights even and just kind of dedicate that time to goal setting. It's a really good exercise to do that on a yearly basis because it really does get you excited about setting goals. And, you know, like I've said before, even if you don't have the money to go away necessarily somewhere or hire an Airbnb for a weekend, I think the best thing is even to just, you know, go to somewhere that you find a really great space. Like maybe it's a library, maybe it's a cafe, and just dedicate time to setting your goals, because I think it's really rough for us to all assume that our New Year's resolutions are all going to come true if we don't have some sort of plan behind them. And that's the whole thing about New Year's resolutions and goals, is that a lot of people get very jaded with them and very funny about them because it always seems to be something that so many people never seem to achieve. But I do think that there is a sense of like making sure you've got a plan behind it all if you want to achieve it. So I think that's always something that sticks in my head at the beginning of the year, is I need a plan to get there. If I don't have the plan, I am going to forget about this, or I'm going to let it go to the wayside. So I feel like it's always good to have a goal planning session. But now we are going to jump into my goal tracker, and I'm going to look at some of the goals that I set for January and go through the ones that I achieved, the ones that I didn't achieve, and then we're going to set some new goals for February as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see here, we have my habit and goal tracker for January, and it's not really looking too good. When I'm looking across to the daily habits completed, 19 out of 93 is not a good number. So we're going to skip over to the next one, which is 9 out of 16 weekly goals completed. I will be talking about that a little bit more shortly. And 4 out of 4 monthly goals completed. So you know what? It's not all bad. And now going down to our first goal, which I had set at the beginning of January, and that was for 30 minutes of exercise each day. I think that I've been doing okay with this, you know, like especially over the weekend time frame and some of the holidays that we've had in January. I think I was quite active on those days, especially because obviously I wasn't at home and I wasn't working at home those days, and it is really hard to keep up with the exercise when you are working at home continuously. So the 30 minutes of exercise though has been pretty well sticking. I mean, I got 61% done, so 19 out of 31 days in January I managed to keep up with that, which was pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think again there's more room to improve with this. I think I can always improve on exercise, and you know, 30 minutes a day is good for me at the moment because being in the setting where I am working from home, there is not a lot of movement going on, and I want to keep that up. So that's going to be another goal I'll be setting for February. 10 minutes of meditation per day. This seems to be one that's really difficult for me to stick to, and I know I've had issues in the past trying to stick to some meditation each day. I think it's one of those things, to be honest, that I need to get in a habit of doing. because it's really difficult to just remember to do it. I think that's the main thing and main problem for me, is that I forget to do it. I'm kind of used to thinking to myself at the moment that obviously with 30 minutes of exercise a day, I want to be up and moving, going to the gym, you know, that's kind of at the forefront of my mind. Meditation is not. So I feel like I've just got to get started with having that at the forefront and remembering to do it, because most days last month, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was completely forgetting about meditation. That is something I need to work on. I want to improve that, but again, maybe I shouldn't be doing it daily. Maybe I should be starting off 3 days a week. I don't know. I think that might be a better habit to get into first. And then 15 minutes of activity / engagement for Instagram. I'm going to be completely honest here. It's not that I didn't ever do this. It's just that I honestly sometimes forgot to mark it down that I did it on certain days. So it actually got towards the end of the month and I was like, oh, I never actually marked that down when I was actually doing the 15 minutes of activity engagement. So I want this to be another goal for next month, but I'm going to try again to get in a habit of marking this off, making sure I am. I probably only did it on a couple of days last month, if I'm being honest. I think I could have been doing it a lot more, but sometimes you just don't want to be around social media. And I think in January especially, still being in a bit of a holiday mode, still having holidays, public holidays and things like that in January where we had things planned with family and friends, I wasn't as focused on Instagram in that sense either. So that is something I want to try again for February, but we'll see how we go. Now moving down to the weekly goals. So obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I had one day dedicated to resetting business. Did that every week. Was really proud that I actually did that, and I managed to get most of the same amount of work that I had done in 4 days versus 5. So I knew that was always a possibility. It did feel like a bit of a push at times, and I think I just need some better systems to make things easier for me in future. Posting 2 times a week to this channel, which I did, which was great. I did not meet my schedule, however, of posting once a fortnight to my photography channel and once a fortnight to Wonder Walkers, my travel channel, which was a bit of a shame because I was in a really good routine with that last year. And I have been posting intermittently to my photography channel, probably about once a month at the moment, not once a fortnight. I really need to get back onto doing the Wonder Walkers videos because again, I've had about a month break from that. So I need to make sure that I'm sticking to that routine. Again, it's just about getting back into the routine though, I think since January, and sort of getting back to everything. And then obviously posting 3 times a week to Instagram every week just did not happen. Again, Instagram felt in the end like it wasn't the priority for me last month, and I want it to be so badly, but it just wasn't. Okay, and then moving on to my monthly goals. So my personal goal was to spend more time with family and friends. I did achieve that. My wellness goals was to walk more, ideally 3 times a week. I also achieved that. Walking more was definitely happening a lot more in January, I think because summer as well. Having slightly better weather at times definitely helps with that too. Financial goals, so I save an extra $500 for air conditioning. I did save an extra $500 from last month. However, the money is yet to come in yet, so it's just how my budget works though. So yeah, technically I did save that extra $500 though. And then for my career goals, I had get on top of my business duties and get organized. I feel like I definitely had the beginnings of that last month, and I really want to continue that with February and having that extra day a week to kind of reset my business too. So my biggest achievements in January were just, I guess, again, taking more time to reset my business, and I guess making more time for family and friends and my personal life. I honestly can't say I achieved that a lot throughout the year, and I think that that's not a bad thing at all that I managed to achieve that in January. I think that's actually a really good thing. I wish I could do that more often throughout the year and actually just have so much more time for it, I think, and that's going to be probably some of my goals moving forward, is just making sure I've got that good life-work balance. So the challenges that I had this month, I think just struggling to get motivated, even though I hate that word. I feel like motivated, like who's ever fully motivated all the time? Struggling to get motivated and start the year from holiday period. I don't really know what I'm saying with that one, but essentially I mean like it was just hard getting back into things from the holidays. I think that was my main struggle last month. And then obviously sticking to my regular YouTube schedule. Okay, and then improvements. What can I improve next month? I think just maybe a little bit more structure in my day. And that's again just to help with struggling to get motivated and get back from the holiday period kind of thing. I really want to just kind of add that little bit more structure so I can feel a little bit more pushed into the day if I need to, and getting things done. And I think also just creating little habits and routines that can really start to snowball a bit more and become those larger habits and routines that I talked about wanting to achieve, and just kind of starting a bit smaller but kind of building that up. And the key takeaways from this month is sometimes January needs to be a thinking month before jumping into goals. I've really felt that this month. Again, as I mentioned before, I think sometimes it's okay to sort of think your way through January, really consider the things that you want to set for your goals, and then use February as that kind of kickstart month. I think that that's just how it's been for me this month. And I'm okay that things were a little bit sluggish this month with getting a lot of things done. I think that that's just maybe the nature of January as well, and coming out of the holiday period. So I think that was my main takeaway, and I'm going to be working in February a little bit more to get that structure back. So now moving over to February, I am going to put in my daily habits, 30 minutes of exercise each day. I want to engage on Instagram for at least 15 minutes or so, and that's each day too. And then we'll try meditation. Let's go 10-minute meditation 3 times a week. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to mark it off here, but I think we can still make it work. So actually, I might actually put that in my weekly goals, so we'll do that instead so I can sort of tick that off weekly. So we'll just stick with these 2 daily habits for now. And then moving down to the weekly goals, I'm going to put in 10-minute meditation 3 times a week. So I'm just going to copy and paste this into the other weeks. We're going to post 2 times a week to this channel. Always like making sure to keep myself accountable with that one because that's usually a priority at the moment. Posting once a fortnight to Wonder Walkers. So we'll just copy and paste that twice, and then post once a fortnight to KJ, which is my photography channel. So again, we'll just copy and paste that once. And we will try again for posting 3 times a week to Instagram. And that can be anything. That can be posts, carousel, reels, anything. So those are some of my business goals for the next month, and obviously meditation goal is kind of a little bit more of a health and well-being one, which we're actually going to move on to next. So just skimming down to the monthly goals. Monthly goals for personal goals. I mean, I would love to spend more time with family and friends. It does get a lot harder as it gets into months like February and everyone's back at work. Everyone is very busy. So I think for my personal goals this month is just going to be to strike balance between work and personal life. If I'm being honest, that's more or less what I want to achieve with February. It's a little bit vague, that goal, but I do think I'll know if I've achieved it or not because I'll know how I'm feeling at the end of the month. So I feel like I'm okay and comfortable with setting that goal. Wellness goals, I want to continue walking at least 3 times a week. And that's also part of my 30 minutes of exercise or on top of. Financial goals, I'm going to maybe save or try and save an extra $500 for a trip because we have actually just booked some tickets somewhere and I really need to save a little bit more for this trip. So I'm going to try and save an extra $500 on top of what we'll already save. So we'll make sure that that says extra. And then career goals, I think just to get back on track and on schedule because that's something that I've kind of had a lapse with in January. So those are my main goals really for February overall. Well, thank you so much for watching this video today. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do because I'll be posting a lot more in future. Let me know down in the comments section below if you're doing a monthly reset for February and how you're feeling about the beginning of the year. How did your January go? I really want to hear all of your thoughts in the comments section. As I've mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you are interested in checking out the Coplenty templates and the template that that I just went into, you can go and check them out on the Code Plenty website. There is an affiliate link in the description box below along with a discount code if you're interested. But in the meantime, make sure to hit the notification bell to see all the updates from my channel in future. But thank you so much as always for watching this monthly reset, and I'll see you in the next video.